Hi, everybody. This is the Dr. Amanda Helman. I'm on my actual page, and I'm going to share with you all about executive functioning. And most of you know, it's not a shocker, that I love the brain, and I hope you do too. Executive functioning is essentially different ways we use all parts of our brain together to help us think, make decisions, feel, have safety. And when everything's aligned, we have a lot of different strengths that help us in our day. And that could be with productivity, speaking engagements, interactions, attention, how we do things that are practical or not practical throughout the day. And over the next week or so, I'm focusing on one skill at a time. And the skill that we're going to talk about, I'll have stories, funny stories, inspirational stories, different fun facts, how-to processes, real small ones, and different posts talking about what are some practical things you can think about for time management. And why am I saying this and focusing on time management first when there's so many different skills, some of that are more higher order? Well, I'll tell you. In a recent 2021 study, looking at time management and looking at the brain, over 82% of people, and these were over 500 to 1,000 different leaders in their industry field, actually shared that they do not have an effective time management system. They haven't thought about how to organize things to help them be as effective as possible. And most of you know, no matter what your field, your work, who you are, that time is of essence. Time is huge. That is a gold, time is gold. And so when we actually do not have things in place that help us highly prioritize, and that's part of the executive functioning, the thinking, the shifting in our thinking, when we're not actually highly prioritizing things, then we may have things all, I would say, all jumbled up, and we will not have the top priorities be the top priorities, and we'll be going at all the other kind of things rather than keeping the main things the main things. I've been there and done that when I wasn't sure and didn't have clarity of what to do. But I love looking of time management in the sense of what is high priority, when do I finish something, and how do I move on? And this is something different, but a lot of times perfection or other things that we need to break through, that's the internal, impact even the time management, because we get into all these other things instead of just keeping with what we need to. And guess what? If it's not perfect, you go back and you change it. I chuckle all the time because I'm a creative and I go and I move and I'm like, oh man, I guess autocorrect messed up that word. And you know what? It did. Oh, well, it's not going to end my day. I just go back, fix it, and I continue. And so that's the important thing, is knowing when to stop, how to change it, when to do something, and to know that you're going to learn from it and know your strengths. And so time management is one area that can be a strength for many people. In fact, a lot of times people may have to-do lists or other things, but they don't have anything in place. And so one big thing that I always talk about when I'm working with different clients, and in fact, time management comes up quite a bit. Sometimes we're looking at even just the basic data of what are we doing. But when it comes to this, a lot of times we think what we're prioritizing matters, but yet it might not be. And so thinking about our systems, thinking about our time, thinking about what needs to do will help us in the end, because we're going to be having more time then for things we need to versus not. And so that is the focus this week, is time management and some stories. So those are the big facts. Did you know that over 82% of people in big industries don't in fact have specific time management? And that's the biggest thing that we need. So when we have the time management off, it means that there's going to be a couple of things: higher stress levels, confusion, lack of clarity, and frustration, or perhaps not getting the things that we love and we need because there's no balance, because we don't quite know what we're doing. It's like a whole complete confusion because we don't have things in place. And so I'll be giving just some overviews, and certainly just about time management and things to think about this week that will help. Sometimes there'll be some practicals, and really just to help with. And that's a huge area I love. It's kind of interesting. I have both a high skill for my executive functioning of metacognition, which is thinking about your thinking. That's another week ahead. And I also have planning and prioritization. That's a huge skill that goes with time management, to be honest, and organization. And I also have a high skill of cognitive flexibility, which is quite interesting because I'm a planner and I prioritize and I know how to do that. And I have to change plans a lot of times. So when I do, I actually can do that quite well. There are some times where after you plan and prioritize, you want to stick with it, but you know that it has to shift. So I just wanted to come on here really quickly and introduce the actual what is executive functioning briefly for you to break it down. And another way that people from Harvard University and different people that have talked about executive functioning speak about it is that you think about it as the brain's control center, that there's a control center, just like when you have planes come in and across the airport. If we didn't have this control center with different ways that we have our neurons and different things flashing that help us to think, we would have planes going all over the place. It would be a hot mess. But instead, we have things bringing us together. And time management is part of that executive functioning skills that we need to help us process, think, release emotions, identify emotions, and actually go through the day with a healthy functioning and healthy skill set. So thank you for listening to this. Again, some of the big things I do, whether it be for coaching, for breakthrough, is time management. Because a lot of times, if we don't have a plan or purpose, it can be confusing. So really looking at what am I using? Is it effective? What's going on? How does it impact my entire day? All right, have a great day. Talk to y'all later.